fascinated by being invited to do this on confirmation, and that the truth is I haven't taught confirmation for the last 11 years. But the other truth is people know I miss it. I miss it. I never dreamt I would. And I don't do weddings anymore and many of those things. I don't miss weddings at all. But I miss confirmation. And so what we'll do in the next, when are we supposed to be done?
5 minutes.
No. 3:15? Okay, so we have 45 minutes. What we're going to try to do is, what I'd like to do is spark your thinking on some things, and know that this is all really from a humble position. My last parish, and I've got a young man who, you know, he's way too old to have been in my confirmation program. And I don't want you looking to him to see, well, is he telling the truth about what they tried to do? But I'm very proud because this is a product of our effort, and Nate gives me great joy. But this is all very humble in that I think the moment you think you've arrived with confirmation, you're dead in the water. And we need to be able to say that because you never arrive. We practiced, again, in my last parish, that at the end of the confirmation year, I gathered all the teachers and guides and the folks who were a part of it and said, scrap it all, let's now talk. What worked, what didn't work, what had impact, what didn't impact. And it was fascinating because right away you start pulling the things that you thought really were good, and you get real honest with each other about, you know, this didn't work so well. And so every year there's a freshness to it, and I think that's necessary. If you came in here hoping that I would offer you curriculum, you can run to another one right away. I'm really out of touch with curriculum. Well, we can, but is somebody...
Well, we got another one.
Sure.
One more chair. I got
Yeah,
right here.
We got 2 shares.
Two chairs.
Sure.
I can let 2 in and then I'll...
Oh, yeah, let everybody in. We got 4 or 5 chairs back there. The more the merrier. There's one right here.
Okay.
Yeah. We're happy to have whoever wants to come. Yeah. No curriculum stuff. The Bible, I believe that's a good piece to have, and so on. But what we're going to be talking about, I think, is more than curriculum. Come on. Come on in, Ryan. Come on in. How I want to begin is with a real simple statement. I love confirmation, and now want to unpack why. I would like you to make this not monological, but dialogical. In that if you don't buy it, tell me. If it triggers something in you. But I love confirmation for several reasons. One is that I think it's an honor to be a part of shaping a person's outlook on life. And that's what a huge piece of confirmation is. Most confirmation programs, tell me what is in your mission centers. Come on in, please. We're excited to have you here. What ages do you do it? 6th grade, anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
6th, 7th, 8th.
6th, 7th, and 8th?
I'm confirming 9th.
Most 7th and 8th? Any 9th?
4 through 12. 4 through 12th grade.
All the way through 12. Whoa, thank you. That's hard hanging on to folks, I believe.
A couple of years.
And
our youth program went from maybe 15 kids on Wednesday to 55.
boy, that tells
We're
you.
a small inner city church.
Yeah. Isn't that exciting? We need to listen. They've gone from 15 kids to 55. It's an inner city church, Trinity, in North Omaha. Yeah. So we got
Have you always had that program though that long?
No, it's with the new pastors that came in 2 years ago. It's a philosophy to go all the way through 12, and this, it's there.
So do they wait to confirm them yet? Or do they confirm, when do
I
they?
think the confirmation age is like 11th grade, but they have years of service.
Oh, so they don't get confirmed confirmed after 8th grade, like?
I just came to see what we're doing here, but I know what the new pastor and I know what they're doing, but I can't describe, but I know it's later.
Well, this is wonderful because I want you to hear real clear, cookie cutter isn't going to work anymore in this day and age. You cannot transfer what's done here and just plug it in here. You've got to make it your own, and again, you got to keep shaping it. You got to keep shaping it. Why love confirmation? Again, it's an opportunity to impact folks' insight into the very purpose of their being. Why are they here? What are they? You're late. Shall we pray?
Could you repeat that again, the opportunity to provide insight?
To impact their insight into the very purpose of their being. Why were you created? I tease that one of the hardest things about confirmation is we want to teach big question ideas. And to be honest, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th graders, not that these aren't big questions, but they're basically, do I fit in? Who will I sit with during lunch? Am I going to have something to be doing Friday night, or will I be by myself? They're different questions. And I think part of confirmation is trying to get the kids to ask questions that maybe have something to do with faith, but also make church a place that we can ask those other kind of questions. But where else are they going to hear it? I want to say, as a pastor, I loved confirmation because it was a key way for me to get inside family. And that was tremendously important to me. I'll give you one example. If you in your parish do the big, huge gathering in September or whatever, all the kids in confirmation and their parents have to come to a meeting, I'd really encourage you to just stop it. That's a lousy night in that, the kids don't want to be there with their parents. They're basically embarrassed at that stage and age, if I'm, hitting it right. Plus, all you're doing is rolling out the mechanics of a program. And I want you to know this program ain't got mechanics. That if that's the focus, you're in trouble from the get-go. Tell me, what do you think is the purpose of confirmation? And I'll write a few things down on the board. Why do we do confirmation?
Is it to get, I'm sorry.
Please.
Is it to get someone to say, you want them to say, okay, I choose this. I choose to be Lutheran. I choose to follow Jesus the rest of my life. You're making that statement to yourself, and you're getting an individual to do that.
Yeah.
You're hoping, anyway, that the end product.
To become a follower of Jesus the Christ. Yeah.
I was going to say to take over those baptismal promises.
Okay. That's, years ago they changed it to affirmation. Affirmation of baptism. Come on in. And that's the goal. We always told the kids, if nothing else, this is a marvelous moment in your life because for the first time you're being recognized as an adult. We believe you're capable of making vows. That's an odd word for a 7th, 8th, 9th grader, huh? But promises that you are going to own and that are yours. Anything else? Any other goals? Do you know what's amazing? About 4 years ago, we had a series of mission centers, parishes, congregations that were in turmoil and uproar about confirmation. And so they called, and I was invited into several of them, and it basically was, the pastor says we have to, and is this fair and right? And so I sat down and I listened just a little bit to it, and then I simply asked, what's the goal of confirmation? And the things they had trouble getting off of was, how many sermon notes do you think should be done? Do the kids have to go to camp for this? I said, please, if you could, answer the question I asked, what's the goal of confirmation? And it was real hard pushing that down into what's the bottom line? What are we trying to, what's our target? if you don't know your target, you're not going to hit it. And it has nothing to do with sermon notes and nothing to do with going to camp, except those are strategies to get to the target. So we got to be real clear, and we need to talk to folks about why do we do this. Daryl?
I think one of the goals is really to learn how to live in God's love and to learn how to love one another as they grow together as young people.
Learn to live love out of God's love. Ryan?
Provide a safe place for the kids to grow, and it's a great time because they're questioning what things in their life.
Go. You know what? Listen to what you're saying. We want an atmosphere that nourishes. And do you know what? Too often we look at strategy before we say, what are we trying to create here? And what we're creating, again, goes back to what I say is why I love it. I loved confirmation because it was an incredible challenge. You know?
Yeah.
It is. In the 7th and 8th graders really don't care about death and heaven. You know? And that's not where they're at. And so how do we talk about bigger pieces of why did God create us? And what does God hope for us? That's a huge challenge. But also, it's a fascinating time of life. I think you've got a beast somewhere between a child and an adult. You don't know what's walking in the room at the time. And that keeps you on your toes. And it's healthy. I believe I learned more about the Christian faith from my kids because they just didn't take the normal platter that we do. We throw out platitudes all the time. Well, because you're justified by grace. What does it mean to be justified? Well, that you're accepted. Well, what does it mean to be accepted? Well, that God embraces and thinks you're important. Well, why would God think that? Do you hear the movement on this stuff? That's essential conversation that I think not just kids, but all of us need. It's a marvelous time to also see if the good news can be real in their lives. And I think that's a gift. So, do you buy these goals? Are these good goals? To help them become followers of Jesus the Christ? To live out their baptismal promises? To learn to live love out of God's love? Do you see the movement? God started it, and then we live it out. And then a safe place to grow, where they can feel free to really ask the questions and deal with hard stuff. Ken?
Well, it's funny that nobody said